This video is brought to you by Squarespace. From websites and online stores to marketing tools and analytics, Squarespace is the all-in-one platform to build a beautiful online presence and run your business. Head to squarespace.com/Emilio to save 10% of your first purchase of a website or domain. Today, we're talking about the basics. You just got the Final Cut Pro 10 and you don't know what to do. This video is about you. Hey everybody and welcome back to my channel. I'm Emilio Takas and I post videos here on filmmaking tips, tutorials, gear reviews and much more. So if you're into this kind of stuff, consider subscribe to my channel and also ring the notification bell to receive notifications every time I post a new video. I have received messages asking me to create a Final Cut Pro 10 tutorial for beginners. So on this video, and it's a little bit long, over 20 minutes, you will see the whole process where you can create and export a video in Final Cut Pro 10 without any knowledge at all. So you just got the program and you go and edit. Because the video is gonna be long, I'm not taking any more time for the intro. Let's go into Final Cut Pro 10. Okay, so you open Final Cut Pro 10 and the first thing that you see is exactly what I'm seeing right now. Here we have the library section and here we have the sidebar. Here is the browser where we see our videos. On the right we see the inspector panel where all the effects and all the magic happens with the settings and all the other things that we control in our videos. Here is the section with the timeline and here we can see the levels for our audio. The first thing that we want to do is to create a library. So we go into File, New, click in Library. We give it a name, let's say fcpx, and we're clicking on Save. So now we have a library. Here on the left we see the events, and as we see, an event was auto-created, and if we want to give it a different name, we simply press the left click into the name of the event, and we change it into, let's say, A-roll. As you can see, you can rename it and also you can create different events for different type of shots or your audio. For example, you can create an event for your A-roll shots, an event for your B-roll shots, or an event for all your audio. And how we can create new events, we go into File, New, click on Events, and we give a name, let's say now for B-roll, and hitting OK or the Enter in our keyboard. Now the next step is to create a project, and we can do that with two different ways. The first one is go into File, New, and click in Project. And the second one is here in the timeline, we click New Project. We give it a name and we select in which event we want the project to be saved. Let's say A-roll. Now here we can select the format of our video. Let's say we will create a full HD video, the resolution and the rate, how many frames per second we want our project to be. The rendering, I usually do 422 Apple ProRes, or you can use the HQ if you want to be more high definition. To be honest, I haven't noticed any difference in this one. For the audio, we keep it in stereo and the sample rate to 48 kHz. It's fine, and clicking OK. And now we have the library, we have the events, and we have the project ready. So the next step is to import media, to bring the media into our project. So we go into File, Import, and click on Import Media. This window will appear. We will select the clips that we want to insert. Let's say we want these three. Now we go to the right and we see that we can add this media into a specific event. For now, we will place it into the A-roll event. But remember, if you have a B-roll or you have general shots or intro shots and you have created different events for better organization of your project, you will import the media into the events that are dedicated. If you haven't created an event, you can click on create new event and give it an event name by clicking here. I leave files in place and I don't usually copy to library because one of the biggest problems in Final Cut Pro X is the size of the project. So if you copy all the files into the library, your file is gonna be much more bigger. For keywords, I'm not doing anything for now. Now, if you have a laptop, if you have a MacBook, for example, that it's a little bit outdated, or you don't have a very strong machine, you can click here to create optimized media. This way you will have the same media files, but they're going to be optimized so you can have better performance while editing the video. And this is the proxy media that you can click, and this is a proxy media where the files are going to be much more smaller in size when you edit them and when you create your video. For now, I'm not going to select neither of these two. Here you can analyze the video for balance color, and there is an option where you can balance the color of your shots. This is more of an advanced technique in Final Cut Pro X. We're not gonna talk about it now. Also, in the analyze and fix audio problems, is something similar to the balance color, but for now, let's leave it as it is. And we click on import selected. I wanna import one more, and let's say we will add this to the B-roll event and import selected. Perfect. As you can see now, we have 3 videos in the A-roll and 1 video in the B-roll. Now we're gonna place the videos into our main timeline, the magnetic timeline of Final Cut Pro X. How we're gonna do that? We will left click in the video and we can drag and drop the video into the timeline. This is the first method. Now the second method is by click on the video and press W in our keyboard. And one more method is to go into the place where we want the video to start, press I in our keyboard, and then go where we want the video to stop, press O in our keyboard, and we will drag and drop the portion of the video in the timeline. We can drag and drop, or again, we can press W in our keyboard to insert it into the timeline. We will go also to the B-roll event and we will drag this video and place it into the timeline. Why I inserted also this video? Because these 3 videos, they don't have any sounds on it, but this video has a sound on it. And as you can see here, we can see the sound form of the video. And by clicking here, we can select how we want the waveform to appear into the videos. Remember, I told you that this video has a sound on it. And if we wanted to place the video without the sound, we would click here and select video only. So by dragging it, we have only the video. And if we click on audio only, again here, we could bring only the audio of the file. Now, I want to import an audio file before beginning editing this video, so I will go into File, Import Media, and I will select the audio that I want to import, and I will create a new event in the library and name it Audio. And click on Import Selected. Perfect. I will grab the audio and I will place it with a left click underneath the timeline. I will press the spacebar and it will start playing. The first thing that we're going to do is to create a cut. We will blade. We hear the music and let's say here we want to create a cut to the next scene. So we're pressing B in our keyboard, we go here with the mouse and we're clicking with the left click. Then we press A in our keyboard, we select the second portion of the clip that we bladed, we press delete in our keyboard and there we go, it's gone. We go into the second video. And here we want to create a cut for the next scene. Instead of the blade now, we will do something different. We will press Option and the right edge in our keyboard, and the cut is gonna be automated without needing to select the other portion of the clip and press delete in our keyboard. I would like to take a few seconds now to talk about Squarespace. If you want to create a website and you don't have any knowledge in web design, web developing, then Squarespace is for you. In Squarespace, you can claim your domain, you can build your website or your e-shop, or you can create a website for you as a brand, as a content creator. And this is going to give you so much value to your YouTube channel, as the SEO, the search engine optimization, is going to start working for you. So head over to squarespace.com to start a free trial and enter the promo code Emilio to get 10% off your first purchase. And we go here. The reason I imported this clip is because it's 100 frames per second, and what we're gonna do now is to create a little bit of a slow motion. Before going into the slow motion, as you see here, we have the waveform, and by clicking with the left click here and dragging down, we can lower the volume or raising up. Now I want to disable the audio completely, and I can do this with this way, or I can do that by right click on the video, click on detach audio, click on the whole audio and send it away by pressing delete in our keyboard. In order to have a slow motion in your videos, you need to record in the higher frames per second possible your camera can record. And let's go now and do some slow motion speed. Let's say here we want the slow motion to take place. Two ways to create the slow motion. The first one is by pressing R in our keyboard and then selecting the part of the clip where we want the slow motion to take place, and then go here and select slow into 25%. We're pressing A in our keyboard and we're pressing Command and plus so we can zoom in, and you see here we can control how we want the slow motion be smooth between the normal speed and the slow motion speed. Again, Command minus to zoom out, and as you can see here, perfect, and we have the slow motion. Now, let's say that we don't want the slow motion to be so big, so we select again this portion of the video and we will make it faster. So we click again here, we go into fast, we select 8 times faster, and as you can see here, now it's faster and we need to wait again to render. I said that before, if you click here, you see the background tasks and you need to wait to render, as you can see here, when you make any adjustments or placing effects in your clips. As soon as it's finished, it can play back the video without any slowdown and other things like that we don't want. Now let's go into the second method of how we can control the speed of a clip. We are in the place where we want the change to happen, and we're placing Shift and B in our keyboard. And now by clicking here, you can see that I can make it faster or I can make it slower. Faster by dragging it to the left and slower by dragging it to the right. And again, if we go, we can have this slow and go here again, Shift B, and drag this again, make it faster, and go again here, Shift B, and make it slower. Okay, I believe we're good. Now, in order to achieve the best slow motion footage possible, it's advised to have the optical flow enabled. So we click here, we go into video quality and we select optical flow, and waiting for it to be analyzed and rendered. The next thing that I'm gonna show you is how we will place transitions. We will click here and we will select the cross dissolve with the left click. This is my favorite transition and honestly one of the very few transitions that I'm using in my videos. Basically, I'm doing only jump cuts, L cuts, and the dissolve transitions where needed. So we're dragging with the left click and we place it where we want the two clips to be connected. We can go, let's zoom in to see, we can go here with the left click and adjust the duration of the transition. So we're dragging with the left click to the right. Here we see in the inspector panel that we can set the amount of the ease and the fade in type. We leave it in the S curve, it's gonna work just fine. And as you can see, we created a wonderful transition. One thing, the video as you can see is not 1920 by 1080. So we see these black bars appearing here. And if we're having footage that it's not such, or it's not, so if we have a footage that it's not covering our whole area here, we're gonna click here in crop, we will click in crop again and click in done, and as you can see the video is cropped into our size. Same here, crop, crop, and done, and same here. Basic color correction time. Now we will select this clip and we will click in the inspector panel so we can show the color inspector. Here we have the color adjustment. Here we have the saturation, that we can make it more saturated or less saturated. And here we have the exposure. Now, as this is a beginner's tutorial, I'm not gonna cover a lot of color grading. Let me know in the comments down below if you want to have a dedicated video in color correction in Final Cut Pro 10. Also, I'm posting a link on the top right now on the screen where you can see a video that I had created on color grading S-Log footage in Final Cut Pro 10. But so you can have an idea, by pressing Command and 7 in our keyboard, we're having all the scopes and the tools for color correcting. And for the exposure, what you want to have is for the shadows to be as close to 0 as possible, and for your highlights to be as close to 100 as possible, and the midtones to be around in the middle. Keep that in mind, and as I told you, let me know if you want to create a dedicated tutorial on color grading. And before I forget, if you don't want to create color grading for every clip separate, you can download for free the adjustment layer that you will find in the description of this video and place them above and create your color corrections into the adjustment layer. You can control the temperature and everything else, blah blah blah. Next video for that. Now let's create a title before exporting our video. We have two ways to do that. The first one that I usually do is by pressing Ctrl and T in our keyboard, and as you can see we have inserted the basic title. We click in the title and we go into the effects panel on the right. We're writing our title. We can adjust the size, the fonts. We can grab this with the left click and place it in the center. We can change the tracking, and also we can click on drop shadow to have some shadow. Here we can control the opacity, the blur of the shadow, the distance, basically everything. We can select if we want to have an outline or if we want into the face the opacity to be lower. Perfect. One of the things that I like to do with the titles is to go into the transitions, drag the cross dissolve and bring it into the title so we can have a nice dissolve when it's appearing. Let's see. Perfect. And now the second way to insert the title is by clicking in the titles and generator in the sidebar. You go into the built-in and out and you can select from different titles. Usually the custom title is the one that you can adjust more, as we did it before. And now that we have finished with our creation, it's time to export our video. You can click in the link that it's gonna appear right now. It was the first tutorial that I created, how to export videos in Final Cut Pro 10, but for now let's go into the method that I use the most. We go into File, Share, click in Master File, go into the settings, we select Computer, Video Codec for better quality, the resolution 1920, 1080, and clicking on Next. Also, if you want to create a thumbnail from your video, you can go to the time spot where you want to grab the frame. You will click here on the top right, click on Save Current Frame, you select the settings, let's say JPEG, next, you select where you want the frame to be saved, clicking on Save, and boom, done. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up as it helps a lot to my channel and for the video to be discovered more. And if you have any questions, put them down in the comments below and I will reply to them as soon as I can. Thank you so much for watching this very big video this time, and I will see you in the next video.